Okay, so I was reading more of this book from the Real Depression Project about overcoming depression. And usually, most of the reading I've done on depression has been cognitive behavioral therapy. And this book had a couple of things, a couple of kind of exercises you could do that were DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, which I never really dipped into before, but I know it's like an offshoot of cognitive behavioral therapy. And I wanted to share these because I thought this was pretty helpful. I have to read it actually because I've been writing all this down as I go through this book. But one of the things they were talking about was labeling negative thoughts. So, if you see a Wendy's logo behind me or something, it's because I'm about to go get my ass a large Diet Coke. So just ignore that. Anyway, labeling negative thoughts. So, when we're depressed, we have these thoughts that, I'm always in my head, like, I'm a loser, my life is terrible, whatever, all these kinds of things. There's a lot of things you can do with those thoughts through cognitive behavioral therapy. But one way to separate believing those thoughts as truth from just, an aberrant thought in your head is to identify it as a thought. So if you take the thought, I am a loser, in your head, you're thinking, I am a loser. You say out loud, I am a loser. You're kind of stating it like it's a fact, and your brain is almost like believing it, okay? Like you'd say, the sun is in the sky, grass is green. You're stating facts. So they say if you change that and you say to yourself, I'm having a thought that I'm a loser, and you identify it as a thought instead of a fact, it starts to put that distance from it in your head. Instead of attaching that, that idea that it's truth in your head, it'll start to put some distance between you and that thought. So if you're saying, I don't know, I'm stupid, say, I'm having a thought that I'm stupid. And I can see how doing that over and over again will help kind of separate out those thoughts that depression is creating in your head and reality. The other thing they were talking about was diffusion. And this actually reminded me of something else I did when I was younger, I'll tell you about in a second. They were talking about taking that thought and watching it drift away. So like thinking of it as a balloon. Like say this balloon represents the thought, I am a loser. And I let go of the balloon and I watch the balloon drift away, right? That's how you, again, another way to separate yourself from identifying it as fact. You watch it drift away, you watch it leave. They were talking about tennis balls rolling down a hill, watching it go away, kind of thing. They had different examples like birds flying away or cars passing by. But anyway, as something is drifting away from you, it's not fact. It was just a thought that passed through your head and keeps going. So I thought those were interesting ways of looking at those thoughts, because when we're real depressed, we truly believe those thoughts. We really, really do. Like just the other day, I was like, my life's a piece of shit. I mean, I probably say that once or twice a week, and by saying that, I'm enforcing the belief that that's true. So I'm really going to try to do this kind of, attaching the words, I'm having a thought, my life is a piece of shit, to try to see if I can, get out of that. You separate that. Separate the thought from fact. But it reminded me of something I used to do as a teenager. It was definitely like a, what do you call those exercises? I don't know, I can't even think of it. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. But it's like, there's a word for it. You're using your kind of imagination, a visualization, where what I would do was I would imagine myself laying in like tall grass, right? And that I was surrounded by flowers and butterflies and bunnies hopping by, some magical shit, And next to me is like a brook. And everything's perfect, and the sun is on me, and I feel wonderful, and I'm relaxing. And what I do is I take a thought, like a worry, whatever my worry is at that moment, I pluck the worry kind of from my brain, but instead I pluck like a flower, and I take a pedal and I let it drift and I put it in the brook and I watch the pedal float away. And I attach that thought or that worry to that pedal floating away. So, see, here's the thing. The empathy in me, though, doesn't like picking flowers. And I don't want to pull its petals off because I feel bad. So, holy shit, there's always something with me, you know? Even when I think of laying in tall grasses, I'll be like, oh, well, Jesus, I don't want to get Lyme disease or some shit. You know? My mind is so fucked up. Anyway, but if you can put yourself there, or even maybe there's some fallen leaves nearby, right? You take some fallen leaves and you take a leaf and you put it in the water and you attach that leaf. Like, you'll think, okay, you know, I'm struggling with bills, or I'm worried about this upcoming bill, and you attach it to the leaf and you put it in the water and you watch it float away, and that problem just floats away. At least for that moment, it floats away. So again, I know I make really erratic videos because I've got all this shit jumbled in my head, but I hope maybe you can use some of that, or it made some sense. If you have any questions, let me know. But the point is to, whether it's worries or negative thoughts or whatever, is to separate it from yourself in a way. Because we get so attached to our worries or our fears or our thoughts, and we believe that all of it is truth, and most of the time none of it is truth, and it's either hasn't happened, isn't gonna happen, probably won't happen, and our negative thoughts are usually just so far beyond the truth. You know, you failed a test, so you're telling yourself you're stupid. No, you just failed the test. Or you had trouble with, you know, you're having trouble with your finances and you think you're just, I don't know, terrible, and it's going to be like that your whole life. In your head, you're thinking that, but no, it's just that you're having trouble with your finances. So again, it's just creating that separation, trying to keep things in better perspective, because we know we can't believe everything we think, right? Especially with a depressed mind. Anyway, I'm gonna go get myself a Diet Coke at the drive-thru, and I'll see you later.